Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Thank you for joining us. Today we will be speaking about Elizabeth Holmes's fraud. Please watch the entire video to figure out all the details. And guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the bell notification. Alright then, let's get started. In 2014, blood testing startup Theranos and its founder Elizabeth Holmes were large and in charge. In those days, Theranos was a progressive thought brainstormed by a lady hailed as a virtuoso who shaped herself as a female Steve Jobs. Holmes was the world's most youthful female independent, very rich person, and Theranos was one of Silicon Valley's unicorn startups, esteemed at an expected $9 billion. However, at that point, everything came crashing down. The weaknesses and mistakes of Theranos innovation were uncovered, alongside the job Holmes played in concealing everything. Holmes was removed as CEO and accused of massive fraud. The organization had to close its labs and testing focuses, at last covering activities by and large. Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes has been indicted for defrauding financial backers, following a months-in-length milestone preliminary in California. Investigators said Holmes purposely lied about innovation. She said she could recognize infections with a couple of drops of blood. Members of the jury viewed Holmes to be liable for tricking to commit fraud against financial backers and 3 wire fraud charges. The split decision came after the adjudicator said the jury, having pondered for 7 days, could convey a halfway decision in the wake of not being able to agree on another 3 counts. The 3 wire fraud charges: she was at fault for being attached to explicit financial backers in her bombed organization. Wire fraud is a moderately wide-going felony in the US, which includes utilizing electronic interchanges like messages to offer false expressions to get something from someone else, typically cash. Theranos, at one point valued at $9 billion or 6.5 billion pounds, was once the sweetheart of biotech and Silicon Valley. Holmes had the option to raise more than $900 million from very rich people, like media magnate Rupert Murdoch and tech big shot Larry Ellison. The solid guaranteed it would upset the medical services industry with a test that could distinguish conditions like disease and diabetes with a couple of drops of blood. For almost 4 months at preliminary, the jury of 8 men and 4 ladies were given 2 various records of the previous independent, extremely rich person whose ruin shook Silicon Valley. Investigators said her organization furtively depended on monetarily accessible machines to run the tests. Preliminary, different lab chiefs vouched for enlightening Holmes regarding the defects in Theranos innovation, yet being told to minimize their interests. Simultaneously, they added that Holmes told financial backers that the innovation was working according to plan. Holmes picked fraud over the business disappointment. She decided to be unscrupulous with financial backers and patients, said examiner Jeff Schenck in Shutting Connections. That decision was not just unfeeling, it was criminal. The safeguard countered with portrayals of a committed and driven money manager, causing ripple effects in a male-ruled industry. Affirming her safeguard, Holmes recognized botches in Theranos' activity, yet kept up with she never purposely defrauded patients or financial backers. Likewise, the protection blamed Ramesh Bright Balwani, her previous colleague and ex. In a preliminary, Holmes charged Mr. Balwani, 19 years her senior, of profound sexual maltreatment, claims he denies. Elizabeth Holmes guaranteed her diagnostic machines could test sicknesses. They proved unable. Considering she was the founder and CEO of Theranos, you thought the case would be easy for the arraignment. These specialized fraud cases are incredibly challenging to prosecute. Attendants were approached to think about many reports and endure proof from many observers. Holmes has recently had a child, and a few reporters accepted she would strike as a thoughtful person. The trouble in effectively arraigning Holmes is reflected in the decisions, a true mismatch of choices from the jury. However, considering how troublesome middle-class fraud cases are to prosecute, the public authority will be content with what stuck. Her previous accomplice, Sunny Balwani, will presently confront preliminary 1 month from now, in a similar court for comparable charges. It's logical Holmes won't be condemned until after that case has closed. The decision sends an unmistakable and blunt message to Silicon Valley founders. There are ramifications when you express things to financial backers that aren't correct. U.S. Attorney Stephanie Hines expressed gratitude towards the jury members, who, she said, had explored an intricate case north of 15 weeks to arrive at their decision. Holmes was named the following Steve Jobs by Inc. magazine, trumpeted by Forbes as being the world's most youthful, independent female, very rich person, and highlighted in Time magazine's sought-after rundown of the most persuasive individuals in 2015. She established Theranos as a teen, not long after exiting compound designing at Stanford University. The firm formally stopped tasks in 2018 following the outrage. Well, that's all we have for today. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.